Hello everyone, welcome to Game Brigade. I am Brian Greer, and first I want to say thank you to all the new members who have joined the community. It's a big, incredible moment when I see the subscriber count just jump up out of nowhere, so thank you guys for joining the community. I also want to say right off the bat, thank you to the Patreon supporters who've been supporting this channel, helping me continue doing what I do, to love this this community that we're part of. So thank you, Patreon. I couldn't really do this without you. So with that said, we're going to be talking Too Many Bones, Unbreakable, and whether or not you should be backing this game. Again, this is all going to be subjective. I'm going to give you my opinion of why I like Too Many Bones, some of the mechanics of the game, and let you guys try to get as much information as you can so you can formulate if this franchise and what pledge levels might be best for you. If that sounds good to you or interesting, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you really want to support the channel, hit the like button. We've been setting a goal to break 100 likes every video. If we could break 150 likes, I will I'll see if I can do a special gift. I'll do like I don't know, let's do a game. Let's send out like a game to someone that likes this video and subscribes. So we'll figure that one out. And probably the next video that we'll do the giveaway. To enter the giveaway, we haven't done one of these in a long time. Let's do a hashtag Too Many Bones. So hashtag Too Many Bones to enter the giveaway. Make sure you like the video as well and be a subscriber. Man, I just threw that out there. What are we going to give away? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, I'm going off track, and whenever you go off track, it's a bad thing. So let's just jump right into Unbreakable. Okay, so right off the bat, we've got Unbreakable. This is 14 days left in the campaign. They're already at $1.7 million with 6,294 backers. Just an incredible showing by Chip Theory Games. I was trying my hardest to get the Strategist pledge. Unfortunately, I was not able to get it, but they have done an incredible job breaking so many records that they've set. Every time they launch a campaign, they just continually do better and better. So what are we looking at today? What is Too Many Bones Unbreakable? Well, Unbreakable is going to be a standalone expansion to the Too Many Bones series. There's been several expansions with just character packs. You have Undertow, you have Splice and Dice. There's a lot of expansions to this game. Some are just character expansions. And there have been now two, this being the second one, standalone expansions. I'm going to talk about what I like about Too Many Bones and what I don't like about Too Many Bones and kind of break down how the gameplay works. Because I think a lot of people hear about Too Many Bones, but they don't know how the game works. And I do think it's an abstract game. And if you don't understand like the core mechanics of the Too Many Bones, you might not enjoy it. So we're going to break that down right now. So Too Many Bones is a dice building game where you're going to be selecting a gear lock, and gear locks are represented by these different character boards, and each gear lock has a different story and how they play, and they are going to have 16 unique dice locations or dice that they can eventually upgrade. And you have, looking at this board, it can be somewhat daunting, and I completely understand that. At the top left here, you have the standard level ups of your character. So you have your health, your attack, your defense, and dexterity. So these are just kind of basic. And then down here, you have the core stats for your character in terms of the special abilities that they can do. And as you play the game, you're going to be getting level ups and skill ups where you can either increase a point here into your basic stats, or you can level up a skill. And one of the reason Too Many Bones is kind of considered one of the better dice building games, and maybe one of the better games in general, is the amount of different combinations that you can do with your gear lock each time you play. One of the things that I think is incredibly unique for Too Many Bones, and I was going to talk about this in the review when I eventually reviewed this game, is that it's the first time I've played an adventure game where once we completed the adventure and we were going to start another adventure, maybe start another game, instead of people wanting to choose a different character because they usually want to get a different experience, maybe try something else, this is the first game I've played where people actually wanted to keep playing their character because they wanted to try something different, or maybe they understood a little bit better how their character might work. That's what makes Too Many Bones, in my opinion, one of the rare gems. Your character is going to have 4 different lines of pathing that you could take. and you're not going to be able to upgrade all of them in a single playthrough. So you're going to have to choose between leveling up your basic stats and choosing a line that you are going to want to try. Now, the game will come with, I don't think there's a photo of it, but they come with little sheets. Every character has their own sheet to basically explain exactly what everything does, because every gear lock is 100% unique. No one does the exact same thing as in the gear lock. So you have to understand what each dice they all do. And so you're going to have a sheet that breaks that down for you. But the sheet will also tell you, if you are new to this gear lock, here's a recommended build. It'll say start upgrading your health, then get some dexterity and an attack. Once you have those, then start going down the red path or whatever, for example. Once you've played the game a few times and you understand how that character works, so in this case Filament, you understand how Filament might play out, you can say, you know what, I'm going to do the health and dexterity because I need those. Those are key. But I'm going to try going the green path, or maybe I'm going to do blue and red. Try changing it up a little bit. That's what makes this game so unique, is the way you can customize your character for each adventure. So that's one of my favorite things for this game in terms of how it plays. The board is played on this map. Now, this is the part that I think people have a hard time grasping, because when they think of an adventure game, or if they think of a dungeon crawling game, they see they're they're moving across room tiles. The rooms are somewhat easy to differentiate in terms of like, oh yes, I'm in a library, or I'm in a cavern, or whatever. This is played on these tiles here, and these circles are where the opponents are going to be, as well as your characters. So your faction, your heroes, will start on this bottom row. Melee start in the top section, range start in the bottom section, and then up here are where the baddies or the enemy chips will spawn. And they're color coordinated because you will be spawning randomly based on their lane to where they go. So you're not going to know for sure what baddies are going to go where, because you're just going to line them up and then figure out where they go. And so you're going to be moving these chips around the board and basically dealing damage. And in this game, like ranged, you can pretty much hit anything you want. Of course, melee has to be adjacent. But it's very much an abstract game. And I talked about in my last video that it's very much more reminiscent to me of like a chessboard, in terms of chess is supposed to represent the battlefield, and you're representing the infantry units and the cavalry units by the chess pieces and how they move and represent on the field. Very similar here, where you're looking at the battlefield, but instead of room tiles and different types of easier differentiable structures or whatever, you're going to be using this mat. And now I personally don't mind this. I think the puzzle that each challenge brings, each combat brings, is incredibly engaging, and that's really the true aspect of what this game is. Every time you go into battle, and you're not going to battle all the time, but every time you do, it's going to have a challenge for you, and then you're going to have a reward result based on how you completed it or which scenario you chose to go with. For example, you're going to draw a card, so there are going to be encounters that you're going along. So in this game, this is the easiest way to describe it, is you have a day counter, and you're going to have a tyrant or an end boss baddie that you're trying to get to. And the end boss baddie will have so many days that you're trying to get to him. And so it might be like 9 days. So this counter represents 9 days. So each day you're going to reveal a new encounter. And the first side here has kind of the story, and they're really loony. Some of them are funny, some of them are interesting, some of them are bland. But for the most part, I've really enjoyed, in my opinion, all of the encounters. And it really does kind of make you feel like you're on an adventure. You're not just going through a dungeon. It's you come across a group of bunnies, and you decide to follow the bunnies down a hill and fall into a tunnel. Inside the tunnel you find something, and so when you flip it over, it'll say, okay, what choice are you going to do? Are you going to do choice 1, which will tell you how to set it up and what reward you can get? So in this regard, you're going to get a loot piece. Or in this one, you're going to do this, and then get a different type of loot piece. And then down here, it'll give you trackers to see, have you completed enough tracking, as well as if you complete either one, you'll get 2 level ups. And those are the dice where you can add the dice to your character. So regardless, we're going to end in combat, because that's what this symbol here means. The sword and shield means this results in combat. And then you're going to get loot regardless which one you get. One's better than the other. And then you're going to get experience to level up your character. What I like about this is not every encounter results in combat. You might have one that results in no combat, but you still get the experience at the bottom, but you don't get loot. But if you do the one with combat, maybe you get loot or experience. So it's an interesting take in terms of how you want to do it. The other thing that's really cool is that your damage persists over the course of the game. So sometimes you have to be mindful of how much damage you've taken. So that's a really cool part about the game as well. And so Unbreakable basically is going to be continuing the storyline of what the game has been, adding in this new map here. And this map is going to be adding in these new chips that we see here that are going to be lava. The one thing I want to make sure people are aware of this, and I'm not positive yet on how Unbreakable interacts with this, but with Too Many Bones, we have the core set, and then we had Undertow, and now we're going to be having Unbreakable. And Undertow, I found when I played it, that I didn't want to mix Undertow components with my core set. So if I was going to play Undertow, we're only going to play with Undertow encounters, Undertow baddies. And we can mix in some regular baddies with there, but generally we're not going to mix Undertow baddies if we're playing a core set game. And I'm curious in terms of how Unbreakable will act with that, because that could change my decisions if I were to back this game. Personally, I'm backing this game because I want all the content and I want the extra gear locks, and we're going to talk about that more. But I can see an argument of skipping specific expansions if you're not wanting to just play with that expansion, if you want to experience all of it together. So with that, let's talk about the pledge levels and kind of break down what you might look at getting if you're interested in getting this. And I'll kind of explain, hopefully, what each one will be getting you and making a better decision for yourself, because I know a lot of people have been wanting to use this as an opportunity to get Too Many Bones. It's a great opportunity because of the flat rate shipping and all the other things involved with Chip Theory games. But what do you get, especially with some of the pledge levels being higher than a lot of people's car payments even. So the top one here, we have the Unbreakable Hero. This is all the new gameplay content. They're going to be bringing in some more 40 Waves in Daelore, which is going to be expansion additionals to Undertow, which is the expansion I was just referencing. And I think one of the main reasons they're doing that is because Undertow, as I said earlier, is only able to be played with itself for the most part. So they're going to be adding more content for that. And then we have Rage of Tyranny, and then we have some additional characters. Now, I want to talk about the additional characters because I think this is an important aspect. There are a ton of standalone Gearlock expansions, and I think those, to me, are the most valuable expansion that I would prioritize if I had to pick and choose between content. So if you are new to Too Many Bones, this is exactly what I'd be looking for. The Bones Basic Bundle, which gets you characters like Gilly, Nugget. You get the 40 Days in Daelore, which adds additional content. You get the adventure map, which kind of cleans up. It's not the best. Like, this isn't totally needed, but it gets you a place to put your day counter. Instead of that stupid card they give you that I showed earlier, you actually put your chip in here and you can track what day you're on. And the premise of this is you're supposed to move a bead along to where the eventual enemy is going to be. It's kind of pointless, other than it's an easy way to keep track of where you're at on the map potentially, and the day tracker mostly. But what I like about it is you're going to be getting a lot of these expansion packs that are character based. And so I think if I were going to recommend this game to someone, I would say I would pick up the original base game, and I would get as many of the standalone expansions as possible, and 40 Days in Daelore, because this is going to add more additional content for your game in terms of encounters and campaign-esque feelings. This is where I would be looking. So for $240, that's a pretty good deal. Of course, though, you'd have to be looking at additional characters, because there's a lot more additional characters, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I have seen as much value myself in the Splice and Dice or Undertow. Although Undertow has two really fun characters that I enjoy playing with, especially Undertow. So that's the hard thing, is that these expansions offer additional gear locks for you to play with and to to learn and play. Undertow has one of my favorites that I personally love to play solo and two-player with. So you are looking at potentially getting, again, you're picking and choosing. And if you really want to go all in, this is the one I would recommend if you're wanting all the playable content. And if I could, I would try to add the Trove chest by itself, because the Trove chest, I have it. You can actually see it right back there. It's extremely helpful in terms of storing this game and getting everything organized. You have the Ultimate Completionist Pledge here. This is $1,100. This pledge, a lot of people think that this is what you need to get everything. And yes, it is to get everything. But it's everything that's also not gameplay related. You've got your log books, your cog books. You got your, this is a flip book, dice towers, neoprene playmats. It's everything. But you don't need all of this if you're not looking for it. So I would recommend highly doing this one and seeing if we can do the Trove chest as an additional add-on. I think I remember seeing that. Did I not? Maybe they don't have it. Oh, here it is. Yes, $150. This is what I would recommend getting. The $150 Trove chest, Kallax friendly, as well as this Just Enough Bones to get all the playable content. And then we are looking later at, if you're wanting to do anything else. Because this gets you Unbreakable, this gets you Undertone, this gets you Splice and Dice, it gets you all the gameplay. This is what I would be looking at, which is a great entry point, in my opinion. So with that, I think the final thing to talk about is shipping. The great thing about Too Many Bones or Chip Theory games in general is they have incredible shipping pricing for their games, and it's flat rate shipping, so it's pretty much just going to be what you see here. And what I like about it is last time I bought Too Many Bones, I also added in the Cloud Spire all-in, and I got all of it for the same flat rate shipping price. Something that probably would have cost me over $100 in shipping to have it shipped through any other Kickstarter cost me at that time $10. So really, really impressive that they're able to complete that for us at such a discounted rate. So with that, I'm going to go back to my face, and we're just going to wrap this video up. So if you are new to Too Many Bones, if this is something that you have been thinking about backing for a while, I think the game is incredibly fun myself. It's a great solo game, and I've enjoyed it up to 2 and 3 players. I haven't necessarily enjoyed 4 players as much, but that's my personal opinion. I think 3 and 2 has been the sweet spot for multiple player, but it works great at solo as well, and I've enjoyed that adventure, and I hope to soon get a solo playthrough up at this game, because it's just a good game, and I think it's fun for people to watch it being played, because it's the way you play, the way you attack each puzzle is different each time. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys in terms of breaking down this campaign, hopefully trying to teach you guys at a rough, high level what the gameplay is like, and see if that might be interesting to you. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know. Otherwise, this is Brian from Game Brigade. I appreciate you guys for stopping by and watching the video. Remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I will talk to you next time.